Hola Seekers, this is Kim and bienvenidos to another timeless reading where we will be answering the question, why is it taking so long? Now this can pertain to anything that you feel called to inquire about the amount of time that it's taking to either manifest, happen, grow, etc. And hopefully, apart from answering this main question, you will also be receiving some advice and guidance from Spirit on what to do to either move things along if there does happen to be any blockages or resistance, or feel at ease and at peace with the pace of the situation or how it is unfolding. So as I mentioned, this is a timeless reading, meaning that there's no specific date or time frame to these messages. At whatever moment in time you decide to watch this video, the messages can still apply to you. Okay, so for this pick a card, there are 3 groups to choose from. Each group is being represented by a rock. But I would like for you to think of these rocks as seeds. We do have a plant here, and as you know, plants, they start off as seeds and they do take some time to grow. And most of its growth goes unseen because it happens underground. And seeing that the topic of this reading has to do with waiting and timing, I felt it adequate to include a plant and, seeds. And I also wanted to reference Flick and Dot from A Bug's Life, Pretend it's a seed, okay? So yeah, please pretend these are seeds. So starting off for group 1, we have this seed. For group 2, we have this wonderful seed. And last but not least, we have group 3's precious seed. So as always, take as much time as necessary to choose your group. You can pause the video if you need more time. Once you have chosen your seed or your group, then head on over to the comment section where the timestamps for each group are provided so that you can skip right on over to your reading. Okay, so now that you have chosen, let's get right into your messages. Let's go! Hola Seekers who chose the seed that kind of looks like a potato, bienvenidos to this reading that will be answering the question, why is it taking so long? Now this can pertain to anything that you feel called to inquire about the amount of time it's taking to either manifest, happen, grow, etc. And hopefully, apart from answering this main question, you will also be receiving some advice and guidance from Spirit on how to either move things along if there does happen to be any blockages or resistance, or be at ease and at peace with the pace of the situation and how things are unfolding. So in this reading, I will be using both tarot and oracle cards. And at the end of the reading, I will be giving space for you to receive a direct message from one of the light beings that you feel called to receive a message from at this moment. Okay? So with that being said, let's get right into your messages. So one of the things that I noticed when connecting with the energy of this group was a feeling of discouragement. Also of frustration. Actually, the energy was interesting in that it felt very mixed. There were moments in which I felt unsure, even a bit nervous, and then it shifted to where I began to feel okay. Like I was okay with how things were. To better describe it to you, I felt like an unbothered queen. So I do sense some impatience, yet at the same time, there is effort being put into not trying to worry or hyper fixate on how long this is taking, on the timing. It feels to me like pretending not to care when you really, really do still care. So if this happens to be your case, first of all, it is okay to acknowledge how you feel about the situation. You do not need to hide what you truly feel or think about what is happening, especially with yourself. Spirit and the universe will not be upset with you for thinking or feeling that something is taking a little too long. I think there is this idea, and I myself have thought this at some point, that there are negative emotions. And these so-called negative emotions create blockages or resistance. But the truth is, or at least what I have come to learn and understand, is that there are no negative emotions. Yes, there are uncomfortable emotions, but just because they are uncomfortable, it doesn't make them negative. So Spirit doesn't want you to feel like you need to pretend or try your hardest not to feel a natural and honest emotion. They want you to be truthful and real with yourself, because becoming aware of, acknowledging, and naming our emotions allows us the opportunity to resolve those emotions. Through active awareness, we can choose to respond rather than to react, to either do or not do something about our emotions that is in alignment with our values. So, for example, you are standing in a really, really long line and you are feeling impatient and or frustrated with having to wait. Pretending that you are not feeling impatient or frustrated is not going to make the line move quicker. And of course, acknowledging that you are feeling this way is also not going to make the line move quicker, but it might allow you to move through those emotions a lot faster. Because it is often the case that the situation itself is not what brings displeasure, but rather it is holding on to these uncomfortable emotions that does. And we can hold on to an emotion through either avoiding it, pretending like it isn't there, or actively finding more reasons or ways to feel that certain way. And oftentimes, these uncomfortable emotions can give us perspective. So going back to that example of the long line, acknowledging that you are feeling frustrated gives you time to reflect, to remember why you are in line in the first place, why this matters or maybe doesn't matter as much. It gives you the choice of either staying in line or getting out of the line. So if you fear that the way you feel about the pace of things is blocking or slowing things down, Spirit is saying do not worry, because that is not necessarily the case. Do not hold yourself back from feeling honest and natural emotions. Why it is often advised to surrender and to trust, let go of control of the need to know when and how. It's more for you. It's to make the experience more enjoyable for you, so that you don't feel like you are waiting or standing in a very long line. And it is also advised because sitting with these emotions for too long or feeding into them can create a lot of doubt. And that doubt creates resistance. And the resistance is you not trusting that what you want is for you. So the surrendering, the trusting, the letting go of control is for you to allow yourself to be open to receiving what you want when it does finally come in or through for you. And again, I feel like this was just a reassurance from Spirit that if you feel that your emotions are hindering your manifestation or are slowing things down, Spirit is saying, no, that's not the case. It might just be making the experience a little not so pleasant, but it is not hindering the manifestation per se. Okay, so now I'm going to move into the cards. I'm going to place this one over here. Ouch. And I'm going to pull out some oracle cards to get a little bit more information as to why this is taking so long or why it has taken so long. And I'm going to shuffle this deck first. This is the Art Oracle deck, I believe. Okay, so okay, so we have one card, and we have Jackson Pollock with the message, meaning doesn't come with titles. If fame finds you, keep working in spite of it. Chaos is handmade. Ooh, pretty interesting. Now, oops. Now I'm going to pull out a card from this deck. Oops. So let's see. My hands are too small for these decks. Okay, one card. Okay, We have it, and we have number 41, synergy, with the message: the frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. Okay, but now I am going to pull out an astrology card. So for group 1, may we have one card, please? There we have it. And we have the 11th house with Mars in Aquarius and the key term rebellion. One of the main energies I'm getting here is opposition. The 11th house questions concerns relating to friendships, associations, one's relationships with groups of people. It also relates to one's hopes and dreams, to our humanitarian impulses. And seeing that the synergy card is talking about never seen before combinations and unions, of embracing the unfamiliar, I think one of the reasons for which this is taking so long, and I specify one of the reasons because actually more than one interpretation to these cards is coming to mind. So one of the reasons is what you seek is so rare and very unique that it has yet to be found and or created. You know what? It might very well be that it already exists, but what is taking a while is the bringing you together. And the reason for why this is so rare and or unique is because this is something that has to meet your specific standards, ideals, and or expectations. And you might think, well, no, duh, of course, then why would I want it if it didn't? Okay, true, which is the very reason for why this is taking a while. There is, even at a subconscious level, a resistance to settling or compromising. And universe is hearing you. They know. So they are not pushing anything onto you that you are not willing to accept. They might offer you options, but if you are rejecting them, even at a subconscious level, that is why the search continues. The example that is coming to mind, it is like the perfect dish. If it doesn't already exist, then we have to make it from scratch, and that will take some time. Now, I want to make something clear because I feel it's important. I don't use the words expectation and standards interchangeably because they mean completely different things. Standards are a reflection of one's personal core values and morals. Expectations, on the other hand, are beliefs of what is going to happen. And most often than not, these beliefs have little to do with our standards and are more a manifestation of like social conditioning or projections of external sources. So, for example, when we see a romance movie and then expect our true love scenario to look the same. If you have very high standards, then universe is working hard alongside with you to meet those standards. If you have very high expectations, then you might be denying yourself opportunities to create or receive what you want, especially if you are more concerned with meeting an expectation rather than meeting a standard. Think of it as a present. The expectation is more like preoccupied with the wrapping and how it is presented rather than what is inside. If it is not presented how expected, then it immediately dismisses the present altogether, not realizing that what is inside is what will meet certain standards. Now, I feel this is important for some because what you are inquiring about will actually be a result of a collaboration, partnership, or teamwork. You working with others, which leads us to the second interpretation or reason for why this is taking so long. The other reason is because there has been a resistance to do something differently or to actually work in collaboration with other people or to receive assistance, support, help, guidance, advice from others. and not only receive advice or guidance, but actually implement it or use it in some productive way. Now, Mars in Aquarius is an energy that marches to the beat of its own drum. So I'm not sure if this will be the case for everybody. Of course, this is a general reading, but I am picking up on a fear of conforming. Or you know what? It might be the opposite. It might actually be that there is a fear of thinking outside of the box, being out of the norm. So I'm getting two different interpretations here, and I feel like in some cases or situations, both of these can apply. So one of the things I'm seeing is a resistance to collaborate, to work with others, or to receive help because there is a fear of conforming or of not being seen capable or not feeling capable or able because you are receiving help or because you are working with others. What I'm visualizing is someone who really wants to stand out. Or it's not that they want to stand out, they simply don't want to blend in. And so they actively choose to do what will not be seen as the norm or is traditional or is valued by higher authority. And I feel like most of this resistance is coming from a fear of being rejected, of being criticized. There might even be a resistance to praise, to acceptance, actually being accepted by others. And I feel like it comes from a space of not feeling like you can trust others. It's a little peculiar because we do have this message, if fame finds you, keep working in spite of it. And actually, one of the things that I'm picking up on is that there is a fear of being seen. There's a fear of being recognized, of actually, let's say, making it. So if you feel like it's very difficult for you to take a compliment, or there is this genuine fear of being seen by others, of being recognized, this might very well be why whatever it is that you are inquiring about is taking a while. Because, for example, if this is about a career, a project, a business, and you're wondering, when is this business going to grow? When is it going to start giving me some profit? When is my art or my work going to seen, praised, acknowledged by others? And if you're thinking that you not receiving profit from your business not growing, your work not being seen by others, etc., is because you don't have talent or it has something to do with you being in lack, Spirit is saying, no, that is not the case. You are talented. This is an amazing idea. It has potential. The only thing that we are waiting for is for you to be okay with receiving. Because this can also apply in terms to a relationship. If you have been waiting or have been wanting to connect with someone in a deep, meaningful way, then Spirit is saying, hey, we have someone for you, but we are waiting for you to be open to receiving love, to trust and believe in the love that someone is offering you. Because this is not only about giving, but it's also about you receiving. And that's why I feel we have synergy, because synergy speaks about working with another energy. It's about interaction and cooperation. So I feel like trust is also required for this. And being open to see someone else eye to eye. And seeing that it is okay to work with others. And maybe someone who is quite different from you. This doesn't have to be someone that goes against your values and your morals. This can simply be someone who has a slightly different perspective about something. So, for example, one thing I can think of is if you are a creator and you solely care about the art and the creation process, but you want to maybe profit in some way from your art and your creations or expand it in some way, then you will be required to think about business or communications or platforms and stuff like that. And if you're not up to doing that type of work, then it might be a good idea to partner up with someone who is business savvy, who is an excellent communicator. So I feel like one of the main messages here is be open to more. And if you don't like to conform, don't rebel just to rebel. Because oftentimes when we do something just to do it, it can lead us farther and farther away from our path. And what I mean by our path is what we genuinely believe in. So Spirit is saying, stay true to you and believe that you are enough, that you are more than enough. As we mentioned at the beginning, you don't have to pretend. Being authentic is not about going against what everybody else thinks or what everybody else does. It's simply about you staying true to you. So I feel like for the rebellious spirits or souls of this group, Spirit is saying, you keep being you, but don't rebel against your blessings. Don't resist the love and the praise. Don't resist connecting with others, working with others, because it is very possible that these collaborations, these very unusual combinations or unusual for you, might actually help things move a lot more quicker. These people that you could be working with are, for example, a new color to the palette that can brighten up the canvas that you are painting on. Everybody is valuable in their own unique way. You know, meaning doesn't come with titles. And I keep getting this message of not settling. I mean, it's up to you to choose what you're okay with. But if you're asking why something isn't growing more or why something has plateaued in a way, then the message, if fame finds you, keep working in spite of it, I feel is pretty self-explanatory. You know, if something has been working out for you, then great. But if you're at a point in which you want to try something new or maybe to expand something, that Spirit is saying, you know, maybe that is a good idea. Now, the second interpretation that was coming through is if you tend to conform and to settle, Spirit is inviting you to be a bit rebellious, you know, to color outside of the lines. Because who knows, that might actually inspire something. I am seeing a fort here, a wall, a fence, and I feel like Spirit is saying it's time to jump over that wall. See what else is out there. It's time to expand your horizons. Maybe you've been looking in the same place and you've been getting the same results. So if that's the case, Spirit is saying, look somewhere else. Look somewhere that you never thought to look into or look at. Give yourself a chance to explore and try something new. Because this is about accepting the not so obvious, the never seen before type of combinations. So it can result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. You know, sometimes connecting with people that we're not used to connecting with, you know, people who are different from us, who are the complete opposite from us, you know, it might be uncomfortable at first, because we might not be used to it. But these type of connections and relationships can definitely teach us a lot about ourselves. It can teach us about what we don't like, what we do like, and it can even allow for a new version, a different version of ourselves to come through. Because remember, we are multi-dimensional beings. We're not two-dimensional. There's different facets to us, different personalities even. And so it's okay for you to explore your other facets, your other personalities. And I do feel like this is about you co-creating something new, giving birth to a new reality. I feel like this is very much speaking about a change. A change is needed. Maybe what it is that you are asking for is something that needs this new reality in order for it to manifest. It's something that needs this change. So what I'm thinking about is like a canvas. For example, you are trying to create or manifest a watercolor painting, but you've only been working with a non-absorbent surface. That makes it very difficult to create anything with this specific art medium. So in order to create this watercolor painting, you would need to change the surface material to something that works well with watercolor. You would need to change the base and or foundation. So that's what I see here. It's like you preparing the base or the foundation. So for some of you, it might require of you to get out of your comfort zone in order to create this change. Because we do have the number 41 here. If we look at the numbers individually, the number 4 speaks about stability, It emits a very grounding energy. It also is a number that I personally relate to healing and to protection. When I see the number 4, I usually always think about foundations. And the number 1 speaks about new beginnings. It is also a number that is often associated with leadership and being assertive. So there is an opportunity to create a new beginning here. And I feel like that is what Spirit is inviting you to do. It's to create a new foundation. Because adding the 4 and 1, we get the number 5. And the number 5 speaks about changes. Unexpected and dramatic changes. So I feel like this is also about embracing the unexpected. Embracing the unfamiliar. And yes, in order to create this change, it might require, and I do feel it will be the case for a lot of you, to work with other people. To receive help and assistance from others. I'm seeing a lot of yellow here. The color yellow is associated with the solar plexus, and the solar plexus connects with masculine energy. It deals with our confidence, self-esteem, self-worth. So be confident about yourself. Be confident about your talents. Be confident about your inner and outer beauty. And most importantly, if you have trouble receiving love from others or receiving praise and compliments from others, it might have something to do with, I wouldn't say a lack of self-love, but there might be a disconnect there. So working on self-love and self-acceptance will also help with you being open to receive whatever it is that you have been waiting for, to make space for it. So it is okay to receive praise and believe yourself to be amazing and loving and wonderful and beautiful and magical. And when we are confident in ourselves, there will be a point in which we won't need that extra outside validation. What we do, we will do it because it brings us joy, it fulfills us. And if we're sharing it with others, it's because we want to share our joy and happiness with other people. So oftentimes I hear the message, find the courage to be different. And I don't feel that's necessarily the case here. It's more find the courage to be yourself. Because this is not about being different just to be different. I don't feel like that's the message that Spirit is trying to give here. It's more about you being true to who you are and what it is that you want to express, what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to align yourself with. One of the last messages I'm seeing here is, if there is something that you definitely do not agree with, that you are not okay with, then Spirit is saying you don't have to put up with it. You can speak up about it or choose to move in a different direction. With the message chaos is handmade, this is what's coming through. Don't get stuck in something that you already know is not what you are about. Remember, it's always okay to ask yourself the important questions. And it's okay to question as well. Questioning doesn't denote doubt. It denotes a healthy mind. If we're accepting of everything or we're resistant of everything, then we can oftentimes get stuck. So asking questions is helpful. Why you are refusing something. If you've been doing something the same over and over again and it's not reaping you any results, why do you choose to go back there and to do the same thing? Okay, but now I am going to shuffle this tarot deck, and I'm just going to see if there's anything else possibly that is creating any blockages or resistance. And this is focused more towards something that is external, extrinsic. So, that one came out. Flew out immediately, and we have the Ace of Swords upright with new ideas, breakthroughs, and realizing the truth. And I'm going to pull out one of these cards to get further clarification. And we have the Five of Pentacles, number 82, the Anchor in reverse. So the Five of Pentacles in reverse denotes an improvement in finances, an end of hardships, especially financially. It also denotes a positive change. a recovery, overcoming adversity. And the anchor for me denotes stability. It's a very grounding energy. It also speaks about safety and protection. And look, again, we have the color yellow. So if you feel like there is a lack of stability and security in your life, and because of this lack of security, you don't feel safe enough in order to move forward or create the changes that we were speaking about. Or as I mentioned before, if there is, like trust issues, if it's difficult for you to trust others and that keeps you from working with others, then as we mentioned before, building this confidence, building this trust will help with you being open to start working with others, to start reaching out for help or accepting help. And remember that this is a healing process, right? So it is going to take some time. So what I'm getting here is taking it step by step, little by little, because we do have the Ace of Swords here. The Ace of Swords speaks about honest truth. It's about revelations, clarity. So yeah, this might very well be about you changing how you communicate to others about yourself, about how you speak to yourself, of how you allow other people to speak to you, of what comments you are choosing to accept and which ones are you resisting. If you are only absorbing the negative comments, the criticism, the judgment, then that is only going to break confidence. This is about building your confidence in your self-esteem. It's okay to accept constructive criticism in order to grow, in order to learn, but only looking or taking in commentary that the whole purpose of it is to tear you down and to be mean and to be rude, that is not going to help. So, balance the scales. Look at the constructive criticism, but also take in mind all the positive feedback that you are receiving. And I do feel like you guys are receiving that positive feedback. Now, because we do have the Five of Pentacles in reverse, I do see an improvement in your finances. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this and say, this is going to come out of nowhere. It's going to magically appear into your life. I do see that this will require some work, just like most things do in this physical 3Ds. But I feel like Spirit is saying with the Ace of Swords, if you are working for financial stability and security, it is most helpful when you are working towards something that you believe in. Oh my goodness, and I actually received I ate Chinese food today, and of course there was a fortune cookie, and this is the message that was inside of my fortune cookie, and I feel it is perfect or meant for this reading. So here it is. It's a little bit torn, but I can still read the message. It says, to accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. So, and I'm going to leave it here. So as I mentioned, I think I mentioned it several times already, this is not about acting just to act, working just to work. Spirit is asking you to also believe. Believe in yourself, most importantly. Believe that what you want is meant for you, that it can happen for you. And it will. Spirit, with all these cards, they're saying it will. We just need to shift some things around in order for you to make space for whatever it is that you have been waiting for. So with realizing the truth, I feel like this is also speaking about realizing what in your life has been holding you back or hindering you. If there is someone in your life who has been causing you to doubt yourself, doubt your abilities, or maybe it's not that they are intentionally trying to put you down, but their own beliefs, their own perspectives might be quite limited, and they might be projecting their own fears and insecurities onto you. Maybe unknowingly or unconsciously, you are absorbing those fears and insecurities, which is holding you back from expanding, from jumping over that wall or that fence that we were speaking about. So I feel like as soon as you realize if there is a lack mentality, where it's coming from, where it originated from, if there are limited beliefs, what is feeding these limited beliefs, then that is when you can take some action towards it or create some changes that are in alignment with your values. And the Ace of Swords here is also giving me this vibe of someone who might actually be an authoritative figure, or who might be of a higher standing, maybe in society, maybe in status, might actually offer you some advice, some guidance. And of course, advice is meant to be listened to. It's not meant to be taken as a fact, as a truth, because it is advice. But I feel like Spirit is saying, be open to listening and see what resonates with you, see what clicks with you, see what inspires maybe a new idea, or maybe helps you move past a limited belief. And also, if you're looking for stability in your life, for that feeling of safety, it is needed, safety, security, stability, but it would help to start working on it within yourself. Feeling safe in your own body, seeing yourself as someone who can protect you, who you can rely on, who is able, who is capable. So yes, I'm also noticing that this statue also has like this yellow aura. So a lot of yellow here, the solar plexus, building confidence, working on your self-esteem. Okay, so those are all the messages I'm seeing with these cards. But now I'm going to pull out some messages from the note jar. And I know some of you would like to hear some time frames of when this will be coming in, but I normally don't like to give time frames because it's susceptible to change, especially based on the energy. Every situation is different, and this is a general reading. And I don't like to give time frames just to give them, especially if I don't feel called to do so. And honestly, for this specific reading, for this specific spread, I don't feel called to give any time frames. Because usually I would look at the numbers here as well as the tarot cards to give like a specific date or a month, a season, but I don't feel called to do so for this reading. And it might very well be because Spirit is saying, hey, this can happen as soon as you are open to what we spoke about in this reading, as soon as you start believing that you are deserving of this and becoming more accepting of yourself, all of you. Okay, but now I'm going to pull out a message from the note jar. Oh, okay, we have these two. Oh, and I was going to say, sorry, I got a little too ahead of myself. This is the segment of the reading in which I give space for you to receive a direct message from one of the light beings that you feel called to receive a message from at this moment. So we already have 2 messages here. So what I was going to ask you before pulling out the messages, what I had planned to do is to give you a moment in order to meditate or call in who it is that you want to receive a message from at this moment. So it could be your higher self, it could be your spirit team as a whole, or a specific spirit guide. It could be a guardian angel or an archangel, a loved one, an ancestor, a deity, or this can even be the higher self of someone who is incarnated in this physical 3D. So I'll give you a moment to do that. And once you have that in your mind, see which of these 2 messages calls out to you. And the one that calls out to you will be the message that is coming from that light being that you are choosing to connect with at this moment. If both of them call out to you, then both of these messages are meant for you. Okay, so now I'm going to open this first message. And we have, well, it is best to believe in oneself. A little help from others can be a great blessing. And this is a quote from the animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender. Is this not the message that we have been repeating throughout this entire reading? Here it is. If you needed confirmation, here it is. Okay? Now we're going to look at this. And the second message is, you're doing well. Okay, so if you needed reassurance, here it is. You're doing well. Your future self or your higher self thanks you for all that it is that you are doing for you. And this message just came through. They also thank you, Spirit included, for all that it is that you are doing for this world, for others, for humanity, for Earth, for all living beings. Yep. Okay, but those are all the messages I'm seeing for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it was of some help and assistance to you. If you resonated with the messages, then please leave a like or a comment. If you are new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks to all of you who took a moment to watch the ads. That is the most simplest way of supporting me and this channel, so thank you so very much. Yes, but that is all for now, and until the next moment, bye bye. Hola seekers who chose seed número 2, bienvenidos to your reading, where we are going to answer the question, why is it taking so long? Now this can pertain to any situation, anything that you feel called to inquire about the amount of time that it's taking to either manifest, happen, grow, etc. And apart from answering this main question, you will also be receiving some advice and guidance from Spirit on how to move things along if there does happen to be any blockages or resistance, or how to feel at peace and at ease with the pace of the situation or how it is unfolding. Okay, so I will be using both tarot and oracle cards, and at the end of the reading, I will be giving space for you to receive a direct message from one of the light beings that you feel called to receive a message from at this moment. Okay, with that being said, let us begin your reading. So as I connected with the energy of this group, the first message that came to mind was standing on guard. And actually, the energy felt a bit hazy, foggy. It was difficult for me to pick up on anything else, especially through my mind's eye. So have you guys recently been feeling a bit on the defensive or felt the need to be on the defensive, most specifically with a higher power? So for example, God, universe, your higher self, spirit guides, angels, etc. What I'm picking up on is someone who is refusing to or standing their ground in terms to sharing or expressing their dreams, desires, wants, needs, wishes with others. So this could be you keeping your dreams to yourself, or this could be you refusing to wish or want for anything, especially ask for the universe or a higher power for anything, because there is a fear of being let down or sabotaged in some way. I know that's a bit confusing, but what I keep picking up on is someone who keeps creating this mist or this fog because they don't want others to see what is going on. Maybe if this is resonating with you, there is a fear of being vulnerable. Maybe there is a belief that expressing your innermost desires or your dreams will make you vulnerable or susceptible. If this is resonating with you, I feel Spirit just wants you to know and confirm to you that your free will is and will be respected. If you make it clear that you don't want them to interfere or get involved, they will not. This is the message that is coming to mind. We're ready whenever you are. You call the shots. So I feel it is once you are ready to be open to your own desires and dreams, not see them as a vulnerability, but rather as a strength, then that is when you will allow more space for whatever it is that you want to come in or to manifest or to unfold. Because at this moment, I am feeling a bit of resistance. So I feel Spirit is saying, we are here ready to work with you whenever you feel it is time. Okay, but now I'm going to move into the cards. So the purpose of this reading is not to figure out what is it that you are inquiring about. The intention for this reading is to find out why it is taking so long or why it has taken so long. Okay, so let us pull out one card. So we have 2 cards. We have number 44 with universal love and the message, the frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other, to our planet, and to the whole of existence itself. Interesting. And then we have number 1 with the root chakra and the message, the frequency of the root chakra, the red flower of life, stimulates passion and supports our sense of security on this physical plane, both in our body as well in the physical world. It's interesting that these 2 cards fell out together, and it's speaking about connection, feeling supported, safe, and secure, because I was feeling a disconnection. As I said, there was resistance at the beginning. And one of the things that I kept visualizing was someone actually putting up a wall, not only being hesitant on connecting with others or reaching out to others or receiving help from others, but also connecting with the universe. And it's interesting how we do have this phrase here, to the whole of existence itself. And an active and healthy root chakra does remind me of trust, acceptance, a feeling of belonging. And I'm noticing how we do have the numbers 4 repeated here twice with 44, as well as the number 1, because these are numbers that came out for group 1. And the messages so far seem very similar to group 1 as well. So if you were called to that group, then I do recommend for you to watch it as well if you want to. Okay, but now I'm going to shuffle this deck and see which card falls out for you guys. Whoops, that one flew out. And we have Marina Abramovic with the message, skeptic, heal thyself. Discipline is both a noun and verb. When a stranger stares into your soul, do not press charges. Stare back. Ooh. And it's interesting how we have Scorpion here. It's reminding me of the 8th house, which is the house of Scorpio, I believe. And it's all about rebirth, endings, transformation. And this Scorpion is reminding me of the moon, which is about what is hidden, our fears, insecurities, traumas, the subconscious mind. And actually, one of the things I wanted to mention before, but I was a little hesitant to say it, was the fact that I was picking up on this energy of hiding. Someone purposefully keeping themselves in the shadows, in the dark, in order to not be seen for fear of getting hurt. And I was going to ask if any of you have been feeling a sense of hopelessness lately, or there has been a lack of faith, a lack of belief, which might be a result of you feeling disappointed or experiencing disappointments. And if so, I feel that is one of the things that is creating resistance at this moment, because it's so interesting how we have the message, skeptic, heal thyself. So I do feel like there is a lack of trust, and not solely in others, but there might be a lack of trust in the universe perhaps, or higher power, as we mentioned before. And with the message, when a stranger stares into your soul, do not press charges, stare back. I feel Spirit is saying here, there is no need for you to hide, or hide who you are, or hide what it is that you want. There is no need for you to hide from your fears. I'm noticing how there is a table and there's 2 empty chairs here, and it's making me think of having an intimate conversation with someone. This could be having an intimate conversation with yourself about your fears, about your insecurities, actually getting to know your fears. This might even be speaking about your shadow self, your shadow side, not hiding from it, not running away from it, but seeing it face to face. Because our shadow self is not something bad, it's not something negative, it's just the other part of us. So this is about seeing all of you, your deepest desires and dreams, as well as your deepest fears. And I'm noticing how this depiction of Marina is wearing a red dress. Again, red is associated with the root chakra, so I feel like there is a need to work on the root chakra. And this specific energy center deals with survival, and it is blocked by fear. So you are being advised to ask yourself the deep and meaningful questions. What are you most afraid of? And surrender to those fears. See how they are holding you back, how they are blocking you, how they are limiting you. To surrender to your fears is to cease resistance to this perceived enemy, fear. in order to shine light onto it through awareness and then identify it. Because the longer something stays in the dark, unseen or unidentified, the more room it is given to pretend to be something that it is not. Eventually, it is our imagination that gives fear its power because it is what feeds it. Remember, what is given importance is given power, and we give importance to what we resist and choose to hide. This is not to say that fears aren't real or that all fears are negative, because fears do have a purpose. Their primary function is to serve as a precaution. For example, suppose you have walked down an unknown set of stairs, but when you were at the top, fear kicked in to say, be careful, watch your step, this is new territory. Listening to fear, you realize that the only reason for its caution is, this is a new set of stairs. Having acknowledged fear, you can understand that its caution is rational. Therefore, you carefully go down the stairs with fear in the back of your mind. On the other hand, if you had not acknowledged and questioned your fear, then it would have transformed into something greater than it actually intended to be, perhaps even preventing you from going down the stairs. If we turn that precaution into fear, if we feed it, if we amplify it, then it starts turning into doubt and resistance, where you see the stairs as a threat rather than just stairs. So I feel like one of the reasons for why this has taken or is taking a long time, it's because there are fears here that is creating resistance. But I'm going to pull out one more card, and this is an astrology card. Ooh. Two cards immediately flew out, and we have the 7th house with Sun in Libra and the key term harmony, and we also have the 4th house with Venus in Cancer and the key term birth. Ooh, this one's so interesting. So one of the things that I immediately thought of or came to mind when I looked at this Venus in Cancer card is someone who is hesitant to birth or create something new because they fear of their capability to provide for that creation, to live up to it, or there might even be a fear of being a creator, a fear of not being enough. There is a fear of trusting others. This might be coming from, and I say this, so if there is a fear of trusting others, the self, or a feeling of not being enough, this might be coming from, and I say this because we do have the birth card here, from a mother wound. How was your relationship with your mother or with mother figures? Did you feel provided for, nurtured? Did they inspire safety and security? And you know what? It doesn't necessarily have to be a mother wound. It can even be a father wound because we do have both the sun and the moon here. Sun is associated with masculine energy and the moon is associated with feminine energy. So there might also be some inner child woundings. It is possible that your inner child is lacking the feelings of safety, of security. And this is manifesting in you not being able to trust others or to feel safe within your own physical body, or you feeling disconnected from other people or even from this physical world. So for example, if something traumatic or something very unpleasant happened to you when you were younger, then your inner child might have deemed this physical world as not a safe space, or might have deemed other people as not safe. So one experience, or maybe more than one experience, might have created a new perception, a new perspective about what is safe, what isn't, what is trustworthy, what isn't trustworthy, and might have even generalized it. One example I can think of is, and this is just an example of course, is if you were riding a bike at the park and you fell down and scraped your knee, which resulted in a very unpleasant experience. And then you categorized either the park or bicycles with harm, fear, etc. And so from then on, even now in your adulthood, you are hesitant to go to the park, you are hesitant to ride a bike, or you see both of them as something bad, solely because of that one experience. Again, that's just an example. I know it's very vague in general, but to give you guys an idea. Now, I do notice we have the 7th house here with Sun and Libra, so some of you might have Sun and Libra or Venus in Cancer. If so, this might be serving as confirmation, but this is here simply to denote the energy. And the 7th house does deal with questions concerning long-term partnerships, marriages, agreements with others. It also refers to matters concerning grandparents, nieces, nephews. So one of the things I'm seeing here is that relationships are important to you. And for some of you, this might be one of the things that you want to hide, that you don't want to acknowledge or you don't want other people to know, that relationships are important to you, that they do matter. Because I'm seeing a contrast here. I feel like what you feel within is something that you are refusing to let others see or know. We do have the Sun here, and the Sun is about being seen, the truth coming to light. And actually, I feel that the majority of you who chose this group, you are dreamers, you are pacifists, you are lovers, caretakers and caregivers. But you might have gone through several experiences where your purity, your honesty, your loyalty, your kindness was taken advantage of. And that might have caused doubts, possibly even resentment. And so first of all, I feel Spirit wants you to know that those experiences are not a reflection of you. Your love doesn't bring about pain. It doesn't attract pain. Your love is pure. Your inner world, the one that you choose to hide, the one that you choose to hide in order to protect it, it is a beautiful one. And I feel a lot of respect here. I feel Spirit wants to give you all the space that you need. They want you to know that you have the choice, that you have free will, that you get to choose who enters your life, who gets to see your inner world and who doesn't. And so I feel like that's why we received that message at the beginning. We're ready when you are. When you choose to allow yourself to dream openly, we are here ready to work with you. And what I mean by dreaming openly is you not denying yourself of your wishes, hopes, dreams, aspirations. You not denying or resisting the love that you feel that you have. I am picking up on a specific relationship. For the majority of you, it is family related. What you experienced in this specific relationship is being projected onto all other relationship dynamics, romantic, platonic, and this projecting is possibly keeping you from connecting with others or fully opening up in your connections. If this happens to be the case, the advice is to not allow for this one relationship to define you, how you connect to others and or relationships in general. Do not give it the power to intervene and or sabotage stable and healthy relationships. And maybe that's one of the things that you have been waiting for, a respectful, mutual, deep and meaningful relationship. And if so, Spirit is saying, yes, there are people who will see you for who you are, who will value you, respect you, and reciprocate the affection and the amount of love that you have to offer. You will not be denied that. Yet, if there is continuous doubt and resistance, then it will be very difficult for you to see when a person is showing up authentically with you. I do strongly get the feeling that this is about relationships. Relationship with others, relationship with the higher power, relationship with yourself, and relationship with your physical body as well. And I keep getting this message, it keeps popping up in my head. There is no need to hide. There is no need to hide. Hiding will not protect you. It will simply keep you from experiencing all the beauty and wonder that is meant for you. Because we actually have someone here in this Harmony card experiencing and basking in all the beauty and wonder that life has to offer, that universe has to offer them. You can see the world through your eyes. You can choose to see the world how you want to. So do not fear being a creator. Do not fear choosing something different for yourself. We do have a lot of number 4s here. 4 speaks about stability, security. It's a very grounding energy. I personally associate the number 4 with healing and protection. So know that you are being protected, and I feel it's because you have established that. You have set that intention, an intention for protection. Yet notice when you are creating walls around yourself versus using discernment. We use discernment to deem what is safe and what isn't, what is of us and what is not. But when we put up walls, we're not using discernment. We're just outright refusing anything to come in, be it good or bad. Now, the Sun in Libra as well as Venus in Cancer can denote someone who can be a bit possessive or dependent, and oftentimes that is a result of having an unbalanced root chakra. There's that lack of safety, there's mistrust, and because of that we tend to hold onto things tighter or want to control them because there is a fear of losing or even of being abandoned. So there might be some abandonment issues here or wounds that need to be healed or need to be addressed, because this might very well be a fear that some of you have. So facing that fear, acknowledging that fear will be one step into healing. Now, going back to mother wounds or father wounds, it is important to address this if you feel that might be the case for you, because we tend to repeat, even unconsciously, what has not been addressed or healed. We tend to repeat patterns. So you are being advised to, if you're ready, look into if there is a cycle in your family. For example, how is the relationship between your mother and their mother? And that might give you an idea of whether there is a pattern or not. And so when we heal mother wounds, father wounds, we are healing family wounds, and we are breaking cycles, possibly even generational cycles. We are reaching into our subconscious mind and tearing down programmings, beliefs that were creating these harmful patterns and or cycles. And so that gives room and space for the new generation to start anew. And for those of you who want to be parents, this will allow you the opportunity to create a new relationship dynamic with your children. Because we do have the number 1 here. The number 1 is about new beginnings. So there is an opportunity to create a new beginning. And I know it might feel like a lot of responsibility to be the one to choose to break a cycle, but that is a choice I feel that is given to everyone, but then it's up to that person whether they choose to heal themselves and in the process pave the way for a new generation, or whether they want to continue repeating this pattern, this cycle. And this doesn't necessarily only have to apply to parent-children relationship. This can also be sibling relationship, your relationship, as we mentioned, with a grandparent. It can even apply in terms to your romantic relationships. Notice if you are projecting the relationship you saw with your parents onto your own romantic relationships. See how that is helping or hindering you. So yeah, I feel like healing all of these aspects, all of these wounds, will allow you to come out of your shell in a way, put down those walls we were speaking of before, so that what you are waiting for can have a chance to be seen and recognized by you, can actually have the opportunity to enter into your life, into your world. So know that you are worthy, know that you are enough. And your dreams, if you share them with the universe, they will not be taken away from you. They will be planted. Your dreams are seeds. And I feel Spirit Universe wants you to know that they also want to protect your dreams and make them a reality. And they will work with you to do that. Okay, but now I'm going to pull out some tarot cards. And this is to see if there are any external factors that might be creating blockages or resistance. So we have the 4 of Cups and the 3 of Wands. Okay, but now I'm going to pull out a clarifying card for group 3. Okay. And we have the Queen of Swords with number 42, Amor. So the 4 of Cups upright, we have apathy, meditation, and regret. And with the Three of Wands upright, we have leadership, moving forward, and initiative. So with the Four of Cups being here, there is this energy of looking at the past, of not being able to move forward from something that happened in the past. And because we do have the energy of amor, this might have something to do with a relationship or someone that you felt deeply connected to or attracted to. And if so, I feel Spirit is saying you continuously looking back to this, maybe wondering how things could have been different or drowning in what ifs, is not allowing you to move forward and to open up to new possibilities. Because the Three of Wands is about opening your horizons, looking into the future, planning for the future. And as we mentioned before, it might be past experiences that is hindering you from thinking about the future or imagining a future that is more in alignment with your truest and deepest desires rather than your fears. Because we do have the Three of Wands here, this can also be referring to a tendency of comparing the present to imaginary future scenarios. The message that just came to mind, which I'm not sure if it's a bit too cryptic, is withholding happiness for a perfect future. So, for example, not allowing yourself to experience, fully enjoy, or appreciate the now because it is not the future you envisioned in your mind. The Four of Cups represents lamenting yourself. So, lamenting that you aren't somewhere, that you aren't someone, or with someone, that you don't have something, etc. So basically, it is being discontent with the here and now because the mind is either too busy preoccupied with the past, with the future, or imaginary scenarios. So there is a call here to pay closer attention to your tendencies and to your habits. How often do you look at the past? How often do you start wondering and regretting? How often do you start comparing past experiences with the present? And see if those tendencies are helping you. Are they inspiring you? Are they motivating you? Or are they discouraging you from believing, from having faith, from being hopeful and optimistic? And see if these tendencies create more negative habits or they trigger a negative habit. So this is about realizing if there are any patterns or any cycles that need to be cut away with. Because we do have the Queen of Swords here. The Queen of Swords, she cuts through BS. She is upfront, she is honest. If she sees that there is something that is not serving her or is holding her back, she immediately cuts away with it, moves forward, and doesn't look back. Because the Queen of Swords seeks to protect her mental health, her mental well-being. Swords connect with the mental realm as well as our communication. So another thing I'm seeing here is very much like group 1 as well. See, what is it that you are talking about most of the time? Not only to others, but even to yourself. Are you talking about your future? Are you talking about your growth, your progress, your healing? Or are you talking about the past, disappointments, letdowns, unpleasant experiences, or imaginary scenarios that lead to hopelessness and discouragement? Because with Three of Wands here and the Queen of Swords, I feel Spirit is saying, or it's advising, to start changing your narrative. Start changing how you speak to yourself. Start changing how you speak about yourself to others. And also how you speak about other people. Because if you're only focusing on the negative characteristics or aspects of others, then that's all you're going to see. And not in other people, but in your reality as well. And in yourself as well. So become aware of how you speak about others. Of how you speak about yourself. Of how you speak to yourself, and see if your communication is creating pain or feeding to the pain or creating more heartache. The Queen of Swords might also be denoting someone who, I'm being reminded of lyrics written by Taylor Swift. It goes, "So casually cruel in the name of being honest." If there's someone in your life who is just plain mean and their excuse is that they are simply being honest, then Spirit is saying, use your discernment. You know, the truth can hurt sometimes, but its intention is not to defeat you. It is not to bring you down. It's not to belittle you. So if this person's way of speaking to you is putting you down, is making you doubt your worth, then maybe it's time to create distance between you and that person. If you are called to it, cut connections with that person. Because it might very well be that this person's intention is not to be honest. This person's true intention is to project their own pain, fears, and insecurities onto you. Or to rub salt at a wound that is already there. And this might especially be the case if this person knows what your triggers are, what your wounds are, what you have experienced or gone through. So with the Three of Wands being here, I feel like there will be an opportunity, and I feel more than one opportunity to explore something new. Maybe there might even be an opportunity to get out of a situation or get out of an environment. I am getting traveling with the Three of Wands. So you might have an opportunity to travel, and it doesn't have to be a long distance travel. This can be a short distance travel. And I feel like this will really help you get out of your head or clear your mind, or maybe inspire you or motivate you to move forward from a situation, to start thinking differently, start seeing the world differently, to feel more hopeful or optimistic, or to start planning for the future, for your dream future, your dream life, or to start already living and experiencing that dream life. Yeah, I am seeing movement with the Three of Wands, but again, it will be up to you. It will be your choice whether you take these opportunities, whether you go on that trip, whether you do what truly brings you joy, or whether you continue to remain in this Four of Cups energy. And I feel like one of the advice from Spirit here is see these new experiences as something new. Try to move away from that habit of comparing them to the past or to imaginary future scenarios. Allow yourself to create new memories and to possibly overwrite those old memories that kept you stuck. You know, it's silly to say that we forget the past, because we don't, but we can choose to start focusing less and less on the past and more on the now. You guys have a pure heart. You have such immense love, and we want for you to experience it. We want for you to live it. We want for you to express it, not so much for the sake of others, but because it would allow for you to feel that love that you are even more. What I'm seeing in my mind's eye is a blank page. You are the writer. You are the author. So write your story how you want it. Write the life that you want to live, because it's the life that you will experience. Don't hold yourself back any longer. Okay, but I am now going to move to the last segment of this reading. And here I will give space for you to receive a direct message from one of the light beings that you feel called to receive a message from at this moment. So please take a moment to call in the light being that you want to hear from. Set an intention to receive a message from them. This could be your higher self, a spirit guide, your spirit team as a whole, an angel, an archangel, a deity, or it can even be the higher self of someone who is currently incarnated in this physical 3D. Okay, so these are the messages. And I'm actually going to take this one as well. So we have 6 written messages. If you are called to, you can take a moment, see which of these call out to you. If not, you can consider all of these messages as coming from the light being who you set an intention to receive a message from. Okay, so starting off with this one, we have the message, less is more. Moving on to the second one. For every ending, there is a beginning. Yep. Do not get caught up in endings, because that holds you back from experiencing a new beginning. So we do have the third message here. Lo and behold, the magical word trust, which is what we were basically speaking about throughout the whole reading. So moving on to message number 4. Keep moving forward. Okay, now for, oops. Oh, interesting. Message number 5, pay attention. This makes me think of discernment. Use your discernment. Pay attention. Now for the last and final message. The seed knows to root first before reaching for the sky. Seeds make me think of the root chakra because it's about grounding. It's important for you to create grounding first. I feel like that is what universe, spirit, whatever it is that you're waiting for, is waiting for. For you to not only be grounded, but feel grounded. Okay? But those are all the messages I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance and some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. If you are new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks to all of you who took a moment to watch the ads. Though it is quite cumbersome, that is the most simplest way to support me and my channel. So if you did watch 1 or 2 ads, then thank you so very much. Yeah, but that is all for now. So until the next moment, bye bye. Hola seekers who chose the seed número 3, bienvenidos to your reading that will be answering the question, why is it taking so long? Now this can pertain to anything that you feel called to inquire about the amount of time that it's taking to manifest, happen, grow, etc. Apart from answering this main question, you will also receive some advice and guidance from Spirit on what to do if there does happen to be any blockages or resistance, or if not, how to feel at ease and at peace with the pace of the situation or how it is unfolding. Okay, so I will be using both Oracle and Tarot cards, and at the end of the reading, I will be giving space for you to receive a direct message from one of the light beings that you want to receive a message from at this moment. Okay, so with that being said, let's start your reading. So as I connected with the energy of this group, the first message that came to mind was leveling up. And the second message was staying optimistic. And I actually felt the energy go round and round. To give you a visual, it felt like a wheel in movement. So this to me is speaking about a shift, a change, even a turn of events. So actually, in contrast to the other 2 groups, I do feel like this group is feeling a bit more optimistic about the process of things, of how things are unfolding. If not, then I do see you shifting. It might be shifting your perspective, your perception of the situation, of time even. And this shift will allow you to feel a little bit more hopeful, will give you more reassurance, or make you feel more confident that nothing is at miss, that there are no delays, and if there are any, they are for a reason. They are there to improve a situation or to redirect you, realign you with what you are desiring, hoping for, with that which is of your highest good. And for some of you, this leveling up might actually denote forward movement. So it might be reassurance from the universe that things are progressing, and if you felt like the energy had gone stagnant, or there was a pause, this is Spirit letting you know that the energy is moving again. And possibly that the pace is actually picking up. So things are progressing much faster than expected. Okay, but now I'm going to move into the cards. And I'll first pull out a card from this Oracle deck that I always have trouble shuffling. That one flipped over fast. We have number 39, romantic love, with the message, the frequency of romantic love supports our journey to feel whole and complete. through the experience with and reflection of a conscious lover. Ooh, so interesting. Okay, and now I'm going to pull out a card from the Art Oracle deck. Sorry, I had to pause because my neighbors were being extremely loud. Okay, but let's see. One card for... Whoa, oh my god, these are just flying out. Okay, we have Piet Mondrian with the message, logic should come from the heart. True simplicity takes a lot of concentration. Find utopia in a straight line. Wait, you guys, before I proceed, I need to share this with you. So I looked to the guidebook of this specific deck, and this is what really stood out to me. While waiting for humanity to advance to a higher level of consciousness, as well as to illustrate life's basic energies. It's interesting because at the beginning, before pulling out the cards, one of the messages that came through was leveling up. And we do have the phrase higher level of consciousness describing this specific card. So it might very well be that you are reaching a higher level of consciousness, a higher level of awareness, and this is allowing you to see more clearly why things are unfolding the way that they are, why it has taken a while or it's taking this much time. And looking at this image, it's making me think of being connected or interconnected, and that physical distance is nothing but an illusion, that true connection persists and exists even in physical distance, because it is energy that connects us. So through the understanding that the whole is an interconnected web made up of every living being as their own individual, we can see and feel how we are always connected. We are linked. And a link can grow stronger through awareness of its existence. So connecting and staying connected with another is as simple, and notice how I am saying simple and not easy, as connecting and remaining connected with our heart space. You are part of the source, yet remember that you yourself are a source. So to reach out, you must first reach within. So I'm going to pull out another card, but I am picking up on a soul connection, a spiritual connection, and even a psychic link. Having a psychic link with someone in specific. That one flew out fast. So we have the 10th house with Mars in Capricorn and the key term authority. So the 10th house deals with questions concerning authority, career, profession, life direction, achievements, public image, and status. So actually, I feel Spirit wants to reassure you. If your actions, choices, and decisions have been coming from a space of love, if they have been made in consideration of both your logical mind and heart space, then you are on the right path. Because Mars in Capricorn, when it's not balanced, grounded, it can manifest as a power at all costs type of attitude, where it has no concern over others, no concern of how their actions, choices affect or impact others. It only cares for the self. And this attitude, and I'm quoting the guidebook of this deck, rarely results in the kind of recognition and success that this Mars and Capricorn energy finds important for fulfillment. So the results never meet this Mars and Capricornians' expectations. They never end up fulfilling them. So as cheesy as it may sound, Spirit is saying it's important to stay connected with your heart space. We do have the message, logic should come from the heart. And what I'm getting from this is a connection between the mind and the heart space, a balance in which both are taken into consideration. Neither is outweighing the other. And what I mean by staying connected with your heart space is staying connected to your morals, to your values, staying connected with the energy of compassion and empathy, realizing that your actions and decisions do have an impact on others, and eventually the result of those actions and decisions, they will come back to you. And some people call this karma, but it only goes to show how interconnected and connected we are. You can see it as a web, and everyone is part of that web. So the outcomes that you want to see, what you want to receive in life, it's important that you're also sending that out there, that you're matching it. So this reading is not here to try and figure out what is it that you are waiting for. It's simply here to answer the question why this has taken so long. And what I'm seeing here is that it might have taken so long because there was a lack of balance, or there was a disconnection between, as we mentioned, the heart and the mind. I'm being reminded of the Chariot in traditional tarot. The Chariot is being pulled by two polar opposite energies, the yin and the yang, the feminine and the masculine. So for this specific spread, masculine is the mind, the logic, the ego, and feminine is the heart space, emotions. And it is only when these two energies are in sync with one another, when they are in harmony with one another, that the Chariot can move forwards with ease and grace. If one of these energies decides to sit down and not budge while the other one is super energetic, aiming for the finish line, then the Chariot is going to tip over. Now, masculine energy is focused, confident, and assertive, and feminine energy is intuitive, emotional, and flowing. It is very receptive. And so when there is a focus only on masculine, that the feminine is ignored, then instead of confidence, there is arrogance. Instead of assertiveness, there is dominance. And when there is a lot of focus on the feminine, so much so that the masculine is ignored, then instead of intuitiveness, there is insecurity. Instead of creativeness, there is inauthenticity. So these two polar opposite energies exist to be in harmony for a reason, because together they create stability. Because without one, there is too much of the other, and too much of something is never good. And I'm quoting Jackie Chan from the Karate Kid movie. So I feel Spirit is asking you, see how balanced is your masculine and feminine energies. See if you have been leaning more towards one than the other. Because I'm actually seeing a representation of both these energies in this spread. This authority card is giving me hardcore masculine vibes, and this romantic love card is giving me feminine energy. And actually, I feel like romantic love is speaking about uniting both the masculine and the feminine. And that is where you find utopia. Find utopia in this integration, in this union. So because we have very specifically the phrase romantic love in this spread, this could be a case in which you were giving one area of your life too much importance, that other areas were ignored, which created an imbalance. What truly needed your attention was not being attended to. I can also see this applying to a self-improvement scenario. We focused only on improving that which we thought to be a problem, ignoring that which actually needed healing to remove the problem. So one example of this could be believing that we need to become successful in order to attract or be worthy of love. This belief then results in us focusing only on becoming successful rather than healing a core wound dealing with self-worth. So all of these examples are to demonstrate how we can create imbalance in our life, and as a result of this imbalance, be driven off the path. Become disaligned with our passions, our desires, our truest intentions, our truth. And that is one of the reasons why this has taken so long, because with the message here, the frequency of romantic love supports our journey to feel whole and complete through the experience with and reflection of a conscious lover. So I feel Spirit is saying, what you want will come when you have experienced a little more of who you are. When you had given more time and consideration to you as a whole. You are not solely this area of your life. I mean, there's nothing wrong for wanting romantic love, but Spirit is saying, have you explored other areas and aspects of your life with this much passion and vigor? Have you found other loves other than romantic love? And this could be a love for your work, for a community, for your passion. This can be love for life. This can be love for yourself. Because remember, this partner here, or this romantic love, is not here to complete you, because you are already whole and complete. This experience is only here to allow you to see other aspects of yourself, to get to learn more about who you are. So when you decide to be open to explore more of who you are, that is when you give permission for this, what you are waiting for, to come in. But your actions, choices, and or intentions have to reflect this decision. What you emit needs to reflect what you want to attract. That is how we make and give space. And it's interesting, very interesting, how we have not only a lover, but we have very specifically a conscious lover, which means that if they are reflecting you and they are highly aware of themselves and who they are, it must mean that you yourself would also be conscious and highly aware of yourself and who you are. You know, with the message, find utopia in a straight line, it's reminding me of that simplicity again. What you seek, what you want, to obtain it, to get there, it's not difficult. It's quite simple. All that it requires from you is for you to stay true to you. And again, I'm saying simple and not easy, because I feel that for humans, the most simplest things become the most difficult. And I feel it's because it's so hard for us to grasp that things can be so simple. I think we're kind of programmed to believe that things have to be difficult. This type of thinking often leads us to make things more difficult for ourselves than they have to be. So the message that is coming to mind at this moment is, you don't have to try to become. Just allow yourself to be. And stay true to you by being honest with yourself. If we can be honest with ourselves, then we can take the next step, which is accountability. And that can lead to change and to growth. Choosing to simply be does not mean that you are settling. It means that you are giving yourself room to grow. And I feel like that's the whole point of staying present. Because by staying present and grounded, you get to know yourself truly, instead of trying to run away from who you are by being someone that you aren't, or trying to be someone that you are not. So loving yourself is accepting yourself for who you are right now, knowing that you can still grow and evolve and change, because you can. For this group, it's very different than from the other two groups, because I feel like you have already reached this awareness where you're coming into this balance, this integration of both of these polar opposite energies we were speaking about. And I feel like this is more of just confirmation for you, reassurance for you that yes, you are on the right path. And if you feel like you aren't there yet, but some of this is resonating with you, then again, becoming aware of where there is an imbalance in your life will be very important, because then that will allow for you to create the necessary changes to restore that balance. Now, one of the other things I'm seeing is that Spirit is advising you to be more assertive. Now, I did find this definition of the word assertive online, and I believe it's from the website mayoclinic.org, and I'm going to quote it. It says, "Being assertive shows that you respect yourself because you're willing to stand up for your interests and express your thoughts and feelings. It also demonstrates that you're aware of others' rights and willing to work on resolving conflicts." So being assertive is not about being domineering or demanding. It denotes confidence without aggression. It denotes self-awareness and awareness of others. So if you feel you have controlling tendencies, then Spirit is saying, see why there is a need to control. Usually the need to control comes from a space of insecurity or a fear of rejection, a fear of abandonment, a fear of losing. So it's important to recognize if there are any fears and what those fears are to bring about the healing and create balance. Because the other side of the coin of being controlling, I imagine, is something like being codependent. It's based on a similar fear. So yes, be assertive. And remember that no one is less than or more than anyone else. If you tend to put other people on a pedestal, Spirit is saying it's time to acknowledge this tendency and to break out of it, because that only creates an imbalance in your relationship dynamics. And Spirit doesn't want for you to do that. They want you to, for the people that you admire, look them eye to eye, be on equal ground by you realizing that what you see in them, you already have in you. You know that phrase, we recognize what we know? So if you see something in someone else that you love, that you admire, it's because you already have that within you. Your inner self is simply waiting for you to become aware of it, to recognize it, to see it within yourself. And I feel like that is what this romantic love message is speaking about. And I feel this will be very important, especially for those of you who are struggling with low self-worth, low self-esteem, or comparing yourself to others. Because what you are attracting or possibly waiting for is of high caliber, highly esteemed, or is widely known. So for example, if this is a person, this could be someone who is a prominent figure. And for some, this might even be someone who is a public figure. So someone who has a large following, an audience, or even a fan base. Or this can be someone who is very well known in their respective fields, someone who is of higher authority, quite successful and very influential. Now, the planet of Mars is the planet of assertion and drive. It helps define our motivation. It describes the way in which we approach tasks or certain things. So I feel like one of the other reasons why it has taken so long is because Spirit really wants you to go within and ask yourself, what is the real reason for which you are waiting for this or want this? And that might help give you insight as to why this is important, or maybe why it's not so important. If you are feeling impatient, why do you feel like it needs to happen now? Does it need to happen now? Because sometimes we can focus so much on one thing, on obtaining it, having it, getting there, so much so that we completely forget what is the reason for it or the reason behind it. So it's important to, sit down every once in a while and ask yourself these important questions. Check in with yourself. And this is not to create doubt. This is to create certainty. Of course, we might not truly know when something is going to manifest or how it's going to unfold, but we can be real with ourselves and say, hey, is this in alignment with me still? And if so, then am I willing to continue being open to it? And notice how I don't say wait for it, because I don't feel this is about waiting. Spirit doesn't want you to sit on the sidelines and wait for this to come into your life. They want for you to live and to experience your life and simply be open to receiving what it is that you asked for. So when it does come in, or when it's ready to come in, it comes in with ease. So remember to check in with yourself and see what are your priorities and why are those priorities important? Why are you putting them at the top of the list? I know those are a lot of questions to ask yourself, but that's doing the work, doing the inner work. When we say you have the answers, it's because you do. All that is required is for you to ask yourself the right questions, or the insightful or adequate questions. Now, I haven't been giving any time frames or dates for any of the groups, but I feel called to give some for this group. We do have the number 10 here. So the month of October might be of significance, as well as the month of December, because if we add up 3 and 9, we get the number 12. I feel a little bit hesitant to point this out, but if you feel it resonates with you in some way, then you can claim it. The month of September, or the month of March, or more specifically, September the 3rd or March 9th might be important dates. And the last thing I'm getting, it just came to mind, it just popped up in my mind. In 10 months. That's what I heard. In 10 months. Okay, but now I am going to pull out some tarot cards. Oops. And this will help us see if there are any external factors or extrinsic factors that are creating any blockages or resistance, or maybe helping this process move along. So we shall see. Okay, and I'm going to pull out the clarifier. Ooh, okay. The cards for this group have been falling out, flying out, or coming out so fast. Okay, so we have, wow, the 10 of Coins upright with the key phrases inheritance, financial security, and family. And to clarify, we have the 9 of Swords, number 41, roses. So you know what? As I mentioned before, the energy of this group was very different from the other two in that I feel like you guys are already doing a lot of the work, are already finding that balance, or removing any blockages if there were any. And I feel like these two cards are pretty much validating that, because the 10 of Coins is letting me know all that you are hoping for, it can come in and come through at any moment. But with the 9 of Swords being here, the fear of not having it, the fear of missing out, the doubt, the worry, the anxiety is creating still some resistance. Swords connect with the mind. So these worries, these fears, these thoughts that are keeping you up at night possibly are not necessarily based on reality. They are not fact. They are more of what your mind is conjuring. And yes, sometimes our fears can be based on what we have experienced in the past, which is why we may think if it has happened before, it can happen again. But still, even though those fears are based on something that happened in the past, they are not an indicator of what will happen in the now or in the future. You know, it's important to learn from our past experiences, to take the lessons with us. So I'm not saying ignore your past completely. This is more about don't let your past influence your future or how you experience your now, especially if it's bringing anxiety or is causing you distress. Don't let that hinder you from opening up to your blessings, from receiving your blessings, or from venturing into new opportunities or new experiences. Because we do have a rose here, and you know, every rose has its thorns. So in every experience, there's going to be a mix of everything. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the future will be all bright, sunshiny, rainbows and butterflies, and that there won't be a single crack on the sidewalk. Because as much as we all want that, it's not reality, you know? Because as we were mentioning before, there needs to be a balance. So there are going to be some ups and some downs, and it's okay to be aware of that and be prepared for that. And that's where taking the lessons with you comes in handy. But when we only start focusing on the negative or on the bad things that can happen, then we're not really giving space for reality to unfold. We're not really allowing ourselves to see the good. So it's important to use discernment. It's important to know when our fears are blinding us and holding us back. And that takes some practice. It's not going to happen overnight. But Spirit is saying, though it might take some effort, you do have the power and the ability to use discernment, to choose what to focus on. Now, the other thing I'm seeing, because we were speaking about external factors that might be helping or hindering, we do have the key phrases or key terms, financial security and family. So If there is a lack of financial security in your life, and that is one of the things that is stressing you out, that is creating worry, that is creating doubt. Okay, first of all, this is the message that came to mind. For those of you who are seeking romantic love, a romantic partner, romantic partnership, if you have a belief that you need to be some prominent figure or be at some level in order to have this, and that in itself is creating a lot of stress, Spirit is asking you to check your beliefs. Why do you believe that this needs to happen, that this needs to be? Is that truly your belief, or was that something that was instilled in you or projected onto you? Are you measuring your worth with what you have to offer, materially, financially, in terms to status? If so, then Spirit is saying, hold more compassion and love for yourself. You are more than your material gain, more than your perceived successes and accomplishments. And this is a question for you. It's just to put things into perspective. Do you want to attract a partner that only focuses on material gain, on image, on status, on, surface level things? Or do you want to attract a partner that will love you and accept you for who you are? Now, our beliefs, how much we believe in something, has a huge impact in how we move in life. So if you truly believe with 100% certainty that you need to have, for example, success before having romantic love, or you need to have something first before having something else, then, universe is going to respect that. And that is most likely how things are going to unfold for you. And possibly the reason why whatever you have been waiting for has taken so long is because you have created so many steps for yourself. So again, if romantic love is what you are seeking, but you believe you have to have this 10 of coins first, and you feel like you're not there yet, then that is the reason why this is taking so long. I'll give you an example. It's like believing that in order to have a car, you need to get a 9-to-5 job, because only with the 9-to-5 job will you be able to pay off for that car. So if you truly believe that, then you're going to spend all of your time and energy looking for that 9-to-5 job and saving the amount of money needed to buy the car, right? So getting the car, which is the end goal, is going to take a while because there's all these other steps that are happening in between. But if you were to change your way of seeing the situation, if you were simply looking at it from a point of, hey, I want a car, I need a car, and I'm open to receiving it in whatever way, then you don't necessarily have to get a 9-to-5 job and save up some money. You might get this car through a raffle, win it in some way, or someone might gift it to you or offer it to you for very cheap. You might hit the lottery in some way, right? So that's why I feel I was speaking about checking in with yourself every once in a while. Seeing how your way of thinking, your perspective, your beliefs are helping you, or maybe how they are hindering you. Because I feel as we start becoming more aware or more, conscious, we start seeing things in a new perspective. We start getting this bird's eye view and seeing that there's more than one way to do something or to get somewhere or to accomplish something. But again, if financial security is what you seek, Spirit is saying, that is what you will have. There is an opportunity to create new foundations, to create new beginnings for yourself, to create something stable, to create something that works for you, that is meant to help you achieve your goals. The word sacrifice just came to mind, and I know sacrifice has a very negative connotation, but sacrifice simply means letting go of things that maybe you're hesitant about letting go of. And sometimes those things that we need to let go of are things that are not even healthy for us to begin with. They are difficult to let go because they are familiar, because they become a habit, because they are easy. they're comfortable. So I do see you possibly needing to make some sacrifices. Letting go of possibly what is comfortable, what is familiar, what is habitual, but not healthy, in order to make space for your dreams, for what you desire or is in alignment with you. So with the 10 of coins here, I feel like the 10 of coins can also speak about investments. So Spirit is saying, do not be afraid to invest in yourself, to invest in your mental well-being and your mental health. Do not see that as spending or wasting money, because it is an investment. So the word priorities came to mind again. There is more than one way to find stability in your life. Good physical health and mental well-being is one of them. Your mind is precious. It matters. You matter. One last thing. I feel like there's something specifically that is worrying you. I do feel it has to do with money and family at the same time. There might be an expense that you are worrying about. Spirit is saying the money for it will come. Because the 10 of coins can speak about an unexpected financial windfall. So it might come as someone lending you the money, as a loan, as a fund, donation. Remember, be open to how this comes, because it can come through in several different ways. It can even come through as installments. So I know it's very easy to say do not worry, but Spirit is saying the resources will come. We will provide, you will be provided for. And this message might resonate for only a few of you. I feel very strongly called to say thank you. I feel like some of you are taking care of someone, and I'm not sure if this is their higher self coming through or a loved one coming through, but they're saying thank you. And we will provide. Okay, but now I am going to give space for you to receive a direct message from one of the light beings that you feel called to hear from at this moment. So take a message and set your intention for whom you want to receive a message from. This can be an angel, archangel, a spirit guide, your spirit team as a whole, a deity, your higher self, or the higher self of someone who is incarnated in this physical 3D. This can even come from a loved one who has passed on. Okay, so now that you have set your intentions, I'm going to pull out some messages. I feel like there's one more message. You know what? I think it's this one. Okay, I'm going to choose those. And this one. Sorry. Have to go with my intuition. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 messages to choose from. You can take a moment to see which of these calls out to you. If more than one calls out to you, then those are the messages that are meant for you. And if you do not feel like choosing, but you do feel like sticking around, then that might be an indicator that all these messages are meant for you. Okay, so let us look at message number 1. Ooh, interesting. Our connection deserves more than a label. It deserves every expression. Very interesting, because I was picking up on a connection, a relationship, more specifically like a spiritual or soul connection. Okay, but looking into message number 2. Okay, so we have the stars whispered your name to me in a dream. Yeah, I was picking up on a psychic link. So some of you might be psychically linked to this person, this romantic love. If you haven't met in the physical 3D yet, then you are connecting in the 5D, in the astral plane. Your higher selves are very acquainted with one another. Okay, but now moving into, the third message we have, yes. So if you were inquiring about something, then here is your answer, yes. And now for the last message. Oh my goodness. We have 1111. So I know that this number or repeated number here is very popular and has a different meaning to every person. So some people see this as a number for divine connections. I personally see it as a number of manifestations. So whatever this specific number means to you, then that is what it's meant to signify. Also, it's very possible that when you start seeing 1111 a lot, that might be an indicator that whatever it is that you're waiting for is about to come in, or that you are on the right track. Okay, so those are all the messages I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching. That is all for now. So until the next moment, bye bye.